Thank you all for being here, and welcome to this, the 7th annual edition of Alice. I have two little gizmos here. Let's go with the first one. It's been an interesting year, I think, as everybody in this crowd knows. In fact, it was 2 different years. I think the first half of the year was pretty robust and pretty much an extension of '07, and then the second half of the year was changed. And so, as we planned the program and we did the things we do to make this event happen, you make changes along the way. One of which you may not have even noticed. This was the original theme of the conference, which you would see if you go back and look in some of the magazines in print. Incredible Race continues, a continuation of sort of that frothy '07 that we're in. Certainly the year started out that way, and it was a good year. But by the time the subprime hit and things happened, which you're going to hear a lot about in the next couple days, we made a subtle change to that. Put a question mark in there. Because we don't bar across the left is the forward EBITDA, how these things traded. You can see that the private equity properties, private equity transactions traded at significantly higher prices than the public equity in the prior 5-year period, probably partly why the public equity wasn't involved. So, similar to the transactions, single asset transactions, the big M&A stuff has sort of slowed down and stopped as well. Now the question is, of course, and that's what these panels are here the next couple of days to talk about, is that a permanent thing? Is that a permanent shift, or where is it going to go? Clearly, most of those guys in the private equity world have exit strategies. So what does that mean in today's context? What does it mean today? And more importantly, what's it going to mean over the next 5 years? Obviously, no change in opening growth in '07, and no change in projection in '08. That's because those deals are largely done, they're largely funded, they're under construction. What we think is going to happen, and I'm not going to tell you I'm the expert on this, so I'm not going to say it per se, but there might be a change in the pipeline, depending on what the lenders are saying today and tomorrow and Wednesday, and where the capital markets go. So, in all 3 cases, '07 will go in the books as a pretty good year. That you can deal with the future more clearly if you don't focus on next week. I think we all have a tendency to focus on the immediacy of stuff, and there's going to be a lot of talk in the next couple of days about the immediacy of stuff. Are the banks back? Is CMBS back? What kind of deals are coming? How do I get my deal closed? Clearly that's important, and you should talk about where things are headed right now, but I think we need to look at this particular cycle and say, where is it going to be headed in the next 5 years? We've developed 3 special tracks this year. One is a development track. Hopefully people are still developing. This was done a long time ago. And there is a whole series of sessions running through the program about how to select a site, how to plan it, how to negotiate, and how to get your money. So if you're interested in the development side of our business, and you want to go into some sessions that are going to be very hands-on, there's a whole series of things about development. There is an entire international track that's very much focused on the Americas. It's going to be about Canada, Mexico, Central America, and the Caribbean. And those are run throughout the program. So if you're doing a lot of international work, you can go to all of them. And last, but certainly not least, there's an entire green hotels track. Delegate attendance, as I mentioned, shows absolutely no indication that there is a recession. Shows no indication that anybody's worried about anything. It's just about 3,000 people, which is going to be a very, very crowded hotel, as you probably have already seen. So a lot of people here, anybody's here, have a good time while you're here, because if you can't meet them here, you're not going to meet them anyway. I want to thank you, and I hope you have a great Alice. And if you didn't like John Templeton's quote about the future, I'll leave you with this one. The future isn't what it used to be.